much for coming, and thank you at home for watching. It's the Christian View, where we take today's hot topics, weigh them against the Word of God, because God does have a view. This is a very interesting topic. Take a look at this picture. This is, it's me. And look on the end of the bed. How many pairs of shoes can you count? I think there's like 12 pairs of shoes hanging on the end of that bed. Now, just how many more pairs of shoes have I got to go buy to make me happy?
Those are not all your shoes.
They're not. They're not.
But you probably have that many at home.
But Rebecca,
right?
we can't buy our way into happiness.
Exactly, yes. And you know what? One good thing for my husband is I don't like to shop. I'm not a big shopper. But I have friends who say, I would quit shopping, but I'm not a quitter, you know. So. And then I have other friends who, one girlfriend has a hat that says, shop till you drop.
Oh, yes.
Now what is that? Just shop till you pass out?
How about shopping is cheaper than a psychiatrist?
Yeah, I don't know.
Is it really? I don't know.
I don't know that it is either.
Do either of you gentlemen have a problem shopping? Because we generally say it's a woman, but I've known men that...
Somebody's been doing some shopping.
Yeah.
I love to shop, but from the perspective of I know what I want. I go where I want to get it. I get it, and I'm home. That's it. That's it for me.
And you know the amount of money you want to spend?
Oh, yes.
So you got that down pat
definitely.
before you go in the store.
That's how men
very
shop,
frugal.
though, isn't it? You're more hunters. Is that the way you are?
It depends. My shopping addiction actually began.
An honest man.
You know, if it really goes back from when I was a child, I remember my mom not allowing me to even go with her to pick my school clothes because she said I always gravitated to the most expensive thing on the rack, you know, and she always said, I hope you have a good job because you have expensive taste.
You were blessed that you had store-bought clothes.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
My mom said, let's go pick out a pattern. Now, we've got the pattern down. You can pick out 3 different fabrics.
Yes,
That's right.
exactly. We did a lot of that, too. growing
Do
up.
you realize there's a lot of different kinds of shoppers? There's emotional shoppers, and they just go when they're hurting or whatever. There are trophy shoppers. They're looking for the very best deal. There are bulimic shoppers who buy and return, buy and return. There
Return.
And then I guess there's just a category of just people who shop just because there's nothing else to do. And I think that's how my impulsivity really got started. I was working in North Atlanta out 400, and I remember I'd be coming home in the evenings, and it'd be during the rush hour traffic, and my habit got started. I would just get off at Lenox exit, and I would walk around in the mall, and before you know it, it had become a part of my routine. And I was just picking up things, you know, and I think it's real easy for people to get into that habit.
And what drives me crazy is if I go into a store and women are on the phone and maybe they've got a shopping cart, because I do a lot of shopping at the discount stores, you know. So they're in a shop, but they've got their shopping cart and they've got their cell phone, their baby's in the shopping cart, the baby's screaming, they're on their cell phone talking to somebody about some deep family problem. I'm thinking, hang up the phone, you know, and shop.
That's a whole new phenomenon, though. You're dealing with, you know, multitasking to begin with, but, you know, you go there for a specific purpose and you get in the way of everybody else who's there.
Yeah.
And so that could be quite frustrating, I know.
Yeah, I don't want to hear all
you
your
go for a specific purpose. Some people just go because that's a part of their routine. You know, something that I've found is I am like you. I only go when I need a specific thing. I just don't hang out in the mall. But I have a cousin, she comes to visit regularly, and she wants to go to every mall, see everything. And what happens to me is I start, oh gosh, my clothes are outdated. And I start being discontent, and I have to remember God says in everything, to be content in what you have. And I start getting discontent if I stay at malls.
You know something, Dawn? At my age today, I don't ever really remember, and boy, my family will tell you, Jackie used to love shopping because I never wanted to wear the same thing twice. I had a thing about wearing the same thing twice for years and years and years. But not only that, not only not wearing the same thing twice, I've never tried one thing on in a store. I don't try on clothes. Never try on clothes. And I've never taken one thing back. Never.
So you just see it and you know that it fits and you just take it home.
I just see it. Number one, my eyes has to be drawn to it, you know, like that choice book stand, God's Shield of Protection thing. But once my eyes are drawn to it and I like it, I just look for my size and I just get it.
That's it.
And if I get home and it looks horrible, I give it to somebody. But I've never gone back into a store and taken something.
It's very
Never.
interesting. You know, I like what Dawn said about we got to go back to contentment and gratitude and be thankful for what we have. And I was reading a quote the other day that said, Black Friday is the only holiday where we trample other people the day after we've given thanks.
Thanks.
I mean, you know, and it does go back to gratitude and being satisfied with what we have, content with what we have.
And that's what really kind of drives a lot of people to the whole compulsion of shopping, is because they're not happy, you know. And when they're shopping, the research says there's a certain amount of euphoria that's released in people, levels of happiness that when they
It
get
makes you happy for that
gratification.
moment.
Yes.
So basically it's something that they don't have every day and they
gives
try
you
to
an
find it another way.
adrenaline rush. Yeah,
You know,
it does.
I think you brought up a great point too. You're dealing with boredom in a sense of nothing else to do, especially for us as Christians. When you know, kind of come away from the world, there isn't really much that's there, so you have to kind of replace it with something. I think maybe sometimes we may get caught up with that.
Right.
Yeah. And it is an addiction. I mean, it can become an addiction. Actually, the clinical term for being a shopaholic is omniomania. Is that right, Lee?
Yes.
Wow. Omniomania.
There's a
It's
mania
actually,
for everything.
and 5% of Americans are affected by it.
Well, they say
Only
that the majority of people are buying things they cannot afford to impress people they do not like with money they do not have.
Yeah.
Stay with us, because when we get right back, we're going to talk about being in debt from shopping over your head.